Hello and welcome to the 90 Minute Cynic Podcast. I am your host Chris Gallagher and I'm joined by Bryan McManus.
Hello Christopher, how are you?
I'm good. I'm joined by Louis McCaffrey.
Yes, you are.
Oh, lovely. Ciaran Harran's here.
Good evening and welcome to my humble abode.
We're in Ciaran's humble abode and Christopher
Is it
Boud.
now classed as Ciaran's?
No, I think it's still Boud. Is it you're still?
No, I've transferred ownership.
Who has the title deeds?
Yeah.
Where are the deeds? Where are the deeds? I'm looking at this guy who's left.
John Bomber Brown's at the front step, you know?
Aye. Not a lot of people are going to get this bit. But
That's why Gal got his pad. He's put this up as security.
Absolutely, don't you worry about that. Yeah. Also, I'm taking 75% of your merchandising stuff. I don't know.
I love CB. All those caps. 75% of that. Hoodies. It's all happening. It's all gals.
Vegan approved.
Sports socks. So I missed last week, but I listened to it thanks to Christian Wolf and to Seth also coming in, Skyping in from Arizona. It's great having him on. Cool. So let's move forward. We've got a few things to talk about. We're going to open with a question. The question is, we should just kind of talk first. Ryan Gauld made his league debut for Sporting Lisbon yesterday. He played in 2 League Cup games. But he made his league debut, and he was quite an integral part of I think it was the third goal. He came on at 2-1. Nutmegged one of the players, puts the ball through to Nani whips it in. Anyway, terrific. Ryan Gauld now playing in the first team. Don't know how long the run will sustain, but it's great that he's made his debut. The question is, and this is for everyone, if you want to tweet us these, or Facebook is, I was going to say WhatsApp, but if you know our WhatsApp, that'd be weird. With Ryan Gauld making an impact at Sporting, which youngster/player has left Scotland over the years that you wish Celtic had signed? Doesn't necessarily have to be Scottish. I'm going to open it up, make it a bit more. Mark Libra. Should we have got Mark Libra when he was at Norwich?
Who?
Mark Libra, sorry, when he went to Norwich. Remember Hibs? Mark Libra. No one remember Mark Libra? Does anyone remember Mark Libra? Mark Libra played for Hibs and I think he scored about 20 goals.
Name rhymes with zebra. I think we would all remember. Totally.
There'd have been a lot of podcast content about that. And zoo-based puns from Boud.
The young player that left Scotland, we actually managed to get. There wasn't one that got away. He actually left Celtic. It was Charlie Mulgrew.
Oh yeah.
We managed to snap him back.
Listen, the pull of the hoops for Charlie Mulgrew. Well, listen, we'll get to Charlie. Louis is already seething at this point. We'll get to Charlie Mulgrew. But no, seriously. We'll start with you. But Chris, is there any player that
there's loads of really good young players. Most of the Hamilton and Livingston squad, to be honest. But
that's 4 quality players right there. You got Mark MacArthur, you got McCarthy, you've got Dorrans and Snodgrass. They were the kind of 4 big players who left without joining anybody, like the Old Firm or anything at the time. And
between those 4. Probably McCarthy, but to be honest, I'm a big fan of all of those players.
Yeah, I agree with you. McCarthy's starting to struggle a little bit at Everton. He's not maybe playing as well as he was at the start of the season. I think a lot of that is to do with, to be fair, Everton are struggling overall. I mean, they're not playing particularly well. I like MacArthur as well, but again, joining Crystal Palace, although they've won 3 in a row, I think, under Pardew. Anyway, that's some terrific names. Louis, you got one?
Not quite sure. I mean, I wouldn't really say. I mean, the whole kind of Johnny Russell and players like that, who obviously there was a lot of speculation about Celtic signing players like that, and Johnny Russell being one. I was never really that enamoured with the idea. Probably the one that I think is a cut above the rest, probably has the most potential, is Ryan Gauld, and I think he obviously looked as if he was so far ahead in terms of just natural ability. I would have loved him to come to Celtic, but at the same time, I think the move that he's got is the best one for him. I think the way they play and being a more kind of continental style of football in a league where he's maybe not going to be as harsh on him.
Yeah.
In the SPL is better for his development, but from a purely kind of Celtic perspective, there's no way that you wouldn't want a talent like that at your club. So Ryan Gauld for me.
Ciaran?
From more recent times, Johnny Russell. I think Johnny Russell he's done well. He's went down south. He's forced himself into the first 11 for Derby, and he's scoring goals. I think he's possibly at double figures this season.
One of the most important players this season.
I watched a bit of
They lost to Nottingham Forest, didn't they?
Yeah, I watched a bit of the game, the Forest game when I was waiting for the Celtic game, and he was good. He's been impressive. He's more of a winger now than a striker. He plays wide with Chris Martin playing the sort of
almost like a Stokes, and the way he's changed now to being more a wider player, but still probably.
I think he's got
you would think of him being a striker.
Yeah, you would, but I think he's got a lot more adaptability in terms of Stokes. I think he can actually take people on and beat them, and he's a lot faster than Stokes.
He was never really a striker at United because he played alongside John Daly. He kind of plays where Armstrong plays now, where he's kind of in the hole behind the striker as part of the kind of three across. Because obviously you've got Mackay-Stevens the right, you've got Armstrong now, and then usually Erskine on the left.
It was always
in the middle.
It was always more central.
There was the centre striker then.
He did just off, I think.
Yeah, that's what it comes back to, adaptability. He's a very adaptable player. I mean, for Dundee United, I mean, this kind of backs up your kind of point here, almost 31 goals in 102 games. But I think the last 2 years he scored quite a lot of goals for them. Derby County, he's got 15 and 63. Again, for a guy who's playing out wide, it's not too bad.
That's a lot of games he's played for them as well.
His last season at Dundee United, he scored 13, and the 2 seasons before that, he got 9. So for a Dundee United striker, that's pretty decent. This season at Derby, he has got 6 goals, but he's got a few assists. So Johnny Russell, Ciaran, Brian.
Well, now you've brought it up, I'm disappointed Celtic never snapped up Mark Libra after his 10 appearances for Hibs. On loan from Toulouse, and probably no goals.
5 goals in 10 games. Does no one remember? Didn't when you guys watch football? Was it just now that you watch it, or
how far back are you going?
2001. 2001.
2001. So
no, joking aside, Mark Libra was a bit a player who was linked with us for thinking he chose Norwich over Celtic.
He was only there for 10 games.
Recent seasons. 2001.
Hold on a minute. Right, the thing is, initially I was making a joke like, "Oh, Mark Libra," and then the fact that no one had heard of him, I had to explain who he was. I'm not saying he's my choice, friend.
Sounds like your choice.
He is my choice. Brian.
There's those, I think, McCarthy and MacArthur, but the one I'd like to see was Stephen Fletcher. I don't know if that's too far back.
Boud, I'm going to go to Boud here for, is that too far back, 2006?
I'm afraid that's too far back.
Jesus Christ.
For loads of reasons, I think he's turned into a great player, but just to see if he would have made the difference that season. And obviously you hear all the rumours that Celtic were not prepared to pay an extra, £500,000 or something to get him, which is just horrendous, considering what he's spent on to achieve.
I think that's another point, though. We talked about this, me, you and Kevin and Dermot, one of the very first podcasts we ever did. Lowell wasn't prepared to be... I think they'd agreed a fee, and then at the last minute, Petrie said, "We want another 500,000." Now people will go, "Oh, they should have just paid it." But I mean, where do you stop? Where do you stop? You're not going to have the piss ripped out of you if you have.
She's of this fucking world. Where did they get off? That's all I want to know.
He held out for an extra $1 million for Mark Libra.
You're very aggressive. I don't know.
Very angry.
What, Rod Petrie?
We need to put a disclaimer out at the start of the pod now.
What's going on? But no, so I mean, where do you draw the line in terms of just people taking the piss?
See, that was what were they wanting? Apparently $4 million for him, when all he'd done really is played well for Hibs.
I think, between the August to we paid £4 million for Scott Brown, and all he'd done is play for Hibs. So. I mean,
yeah, but I think I don't know if Petrie, because Celtic were crying out for someone like Stephen Fletcher at that point.
I think between August and the January window, he hadn't scored a lot of goals, but between January and the end of the season, I think he scored 12 goals, and I don't know if that was either trying to win a move to Celtic or just trying to impress people. But Stephen Fletcher's a great shout.
It would have been, and the other one is, I mean, just using that in terms of buying players. Like McCarthy, who apparently Mowbray, we could have got him for like £1 million, and Mowbray said he wasn't any better than anything we had at that point. So mean, that's a whole different kettle of fish when your manager's just an arsehole.
Yeah, well, that's Landry Nguemo, terrific player.
I used to always like Nguemo.
He just signed for Saint Etienne on a free contract like this weekend. So
was it that Nguemo-Crosas partnership was one of the most dynamic midfields Celtic have had?
Aye, absolutely. Mark Crosas, too good for the SPL. It's a shame that he was shite when he played. He's just too good for the man. He's passing, great. He's too good for Scottish football, but when he plays, he's rubbish. So, it's because he's too good, man.
He's good at noising up folk on Twitter, which is always Celtic need a player like that just now.
A player to noise up folk on Twitter, Brian. This is why you're not a
folk from the other half of the city. Yeah, that's what Celtic need in this transfer window, I would say.
Someone to
Mark
do
Libra
Twitter.
Aye, somebody's to noise up opposing fans on Twitter.
We're going to have a Mark Libra corner from now on the website and on Twitter. If you remember Mark Libra, please tweet at 90MinuteCynic and just say, I remember Mark.
Should be a new feature.
Hashtag
the one that got away. Hashtag the one that got away.
Libra. I think you guys have kind of covered most of the kind of big ones in terms of the great Scottish youth that we've missed out on.
McCormack, maybe?
Well, he was at Rangers, so we're never going to buy a Rangers player. Oh, no, he was at Motherwell.
He started at Rangers then.
Sorry, he went to Motherwell, that's
What
right.
about Lee Wallace? I know he got away from football generally, but
I always remember thinking Lee Wallace was a great player when he was at Hearts. But fuck him. Also, see... very technical. Andrew Robertson would be another one. We actually had him and let him go, but just disappointed. And I tell you, we could be talking about this in the next 2 weeks' time, and we could all be saying Stuart Armstrong, because I don't think the Stuart Armstrong deal is going to happen now, unfortunately. And I think he probably will move. Maybe not in this window, but very disappointed.
how much would United want for him?
I think it will. But
Celtic pay, what, 3 million? So
I would pay £3 million for him. I think he's a £3 million player. I think we need
got
to...
3 for Armstrong, didn't they? Sorry,
Robertson. I think that we need to either be committed to the players in our league by paying what they're worth, or just don't. Buy domestically or don't. And see when people say, they're no worth it. We've got a lot of players who we've spent a lot of money on who are dreadful. That's Baldy now on his third loan. He's now in Israel. He went to Portugal, which is rubbish there. Went to Belgium, he was rubbish there, and now he's back.
Caveat: he scored an amazing goal.
That's a
It was rubbish.
It was a worldie. Is that right, Ciaran?
Correct.
Yes, he scored a worldie. From what I understand, that's the kids' lingo these days. Okay, that's great stuff. Okay, we'll start, obviously, as we always do, with Celtic. So, Celtic versus Hamilton, versus Celtic. It finished, was it 2-0? 2-0?
2-0, yeah.
2-0. Who were the goal scorers?
Adam Matthews scored, and Cheeky, not quite an assist, but almost, took part in the second.
He did. Actually, it was more of an Izzy, sort of. I'd say Izzy had the assist. Thoughts on the game? We'll start with Louis McCaffrey.
I thought Celtic played within themselves. I thought it was a pretty professional performance and a controlled performance. I didn't think I don't think they really attacked and went for the jugular. I feel like they just kind of done what they had to do. Were very professional about how they done it, and thoroughly deserved to win. I didn't think the first half was that great. I thought the second half was a bit better. But as I say, it just I didn't learn anything new. No one particularly really impressed me. Beaton was good and kept things moving, which I liked. And Griffiths, I thought Griffiths worked his socks off tirelessly, but again, didn't really have much in front of goal. I remember he had one dig. Was that the second half where it was at the edge of the box and he had his first real crack at it, where he could really control the ball for a couple of seconds and hit one, and that was good. And that's the thing.